Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Crumpet Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. My man Donovan Siddiqui off taking care of some business. But I got the Queen, Demetra K, in the building. And I am the 5-star general. Say, man, if you're scared, get a dog. Because tomorrow night is going down, man. I don't know what's going to happen. More civil unrest? I think it's going to happen across the board no matter who wins. But tonight, we're going to talk about it. Let's go. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. And we're going to apologize. Donovan's not in tonight, but he'll be in tomorrow night when we take over the whole media, everything, because we ain't giving out no passes tomorrow night. I'm telling y'all, we going hard in the paint. But man, what can I say? I'm working on a new project out in Louisiana with this pastor that seems to be a pedophile and then raped about 6 or 7 girls in his family, including his daughter. I'm coming to get you, homie. I'm coming to check the state of Louisiana, how you can stick your hand down the pants of a 15-year-old and all you get is a bullshit sexually related charge. No, that ain't gonna fly with me, man. And we ain't letting it go. And on top of that, I think I talked about this dude last week, Josh Boudreaux, school board member from St. Landry Parish, Louisiana, up in Opelousas. Man, you got some very interesting comments that you make on your pages, man. You know, how Democrats is broke and, you know, they unemployed and they this and that. Say, man, let me tell you something. I ain't them people down there. Boy, I will have you shaking like a stripper at $2 Tuesday, man. So expect a visit from me, man. What's going on, Demetra?
So everything is going on. Of course, you guys, hello and welcome to Monday night's edition of the War Zone, the Monday before Election Tuesday. It is supposed to be one for the record. I don't know, I guess. But anyway, tonight we're going to talk about a couple of things. One of them is the civil unrest that you guys have probably seen starting to unfold around the country. And then later on, we're going to get into that Congressman James Clyburn, some of the things that he said he wanted to see Joe Biden do in his first 100 hours, not days, first 100 hours in office. But don't hold your breath. It's nothing spectacular, but you'll see a little bit later on. And so I guess in the news, it seems that Joe Biden is ahead in most polls. But again, you know, stranger things have happened as we've seen in 2016. Same thing looked like for Hillary Clinton, that she was going to win. She was going to beat Trump. She did not. It seems like the same scenario, but it looks like Joe Biden's chances seem a little bit better than Hillary at beating Trump. But it all remains to be seen. But Trump is also saying, I'm not going to go quietly. Of course, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, you know, I already got my lawyers ready to go, you know, to challenge. You know, obviously, he's going to challenge anything that's not in his favor, right? Even if he wins by a small margin, you know, he's going to get all of his lawyers together and challenge it and, you know, all of that. And so I wouldn't count on results on Tuesday night, you know, unless one of them wins big. It can go on for days and weeks maybe. So
I think this is going to be like a heavyweight fight. I think somebody going to get knocked out. Sort of like Hillary did. She got knocked out in the first 30 minutes. I said it 4 years ago. I'm going to say it again. As long as Trump is in this race, he got a shot. And one of the hardest things to do, and I don't care what people think, just do the research. It's hard to beat an incumbent, man. It's really hard to beat an incumbent. I don't care if it's the president or city council or whatever. You know, that doesn't mean I support the man. but I don't have to keep preaching that sermon. You've already heard what I've said, for months and months. And I applaud Donovan and Demetra because we've been teaching and preaching for over 7 to 8 months. So, like our coach told us the day before the championship game, which we ended up winning, there's nothing we can tell you tonight that we have not told you for the last 7 or 8 months. You have to use your facts, you have to use your research, and you have to pick the best person. But I think down balloting is more important because if you get Joe and you still got Mitch O'Connell, ain't nothing finna happen. And I don't think Mitch gonna get beat in Kentucky. That's just how I feel about it. That's a race we gonna watch tomorrow night because I don't think Mitch is going to get beat. But the key is flipping those, those congressional seats. And I don't think they got the muscle to do it. I don't think they can take over, Senate and Congress. I just don't see it. And if that does not happen, it does not matter. But more importantly, Demetra, if this thing ends up in a court of law and it ends up in the Supreme Court, then you will understand why they made sure they had the majority. Because I don't see it coming out the Supreme Court no other way. And that's what it is. Because in Washington, D.C., they got some strange things that go on. Y'all ever watch Scandal? How people just end up dead? Don't vote to go up in there and play with that man if you want. Some of y'all might end up stinking in a ditch somewhere. So, I just think no matter how it goes tomorrow, if Trump loses, then you're going to have, his people going off. If Biden loses, Black Lives Matter, Antifa going off. So I'm just sending out fair warning, man. I ain't got nothing to do with none of y'all. I'm not changing my lifestyle. I'm not going to buy no whole bunch of groceries like the hurricane coming. I'm going to do what I normally do. And if you come up to me with that foolishness, I'm going to split your head open like a sucker's orange. And that's real.
No, I totally agree with you. And you said it's hard to beat an incumbent. Yes, it is true. But George Bush Sr. actually served one term. Mm-hmm. He was beating an incumbent. But like you said, it's they usually win, right? In most or many types of elections, they usually win. It's usually it's their race to lose, exactly. Right? And so we've seen, and you guys might have seen the videos of the Patriots. That's what they're calling, I guess, themselves on the MAGA side. They are getting together in these caravans and they are harassing people, cornering people. I put up a video of a lady. I don't know how she happened amongst the Patriot crowd, but it was quite a few of the Trump supporters that surrounded her. And she had them on video. They're calling her everything but a child of God. I think she's a Hispanic woman, but she was called the N-word a couple times. The lady came up to her, pushed her, tried to smack her phone out of her head, called her all types of B words, and just the most. And, just in California, just in California, in Temecula, not too far outside on the way to San Diego, there was a caravan of Trump supporters, and it sounds like they were trying to block some of the voting polls. And so we've seen quite a bit of this go on. I don't know if this is a newly formed group, the Patriots, where they're getting together and, trying to intimidate people. But of course, we see all throughout the nation, a lot of businesses are boarding up. Beverly Hills, the Washington, they're boarding up all their businesses because they're expecting, like Gary said, whether it's MAGA, whether it's Antifa, whoever, the right and the left, to get crunked, depending on if things are ruled in their favor. And so I'm with Gary. I don't think people should be afraid, but I think you should use wisdom. Like if you don't have to be out there, because I have people call me today asking me, what do you think is going to happen? I said, listen, expect the worst and prepare to be at home. So do all your grocery shopping and everything you need to do now. Don't be out there if you don't need to be. And again, I'm not saying that you should be afraid, but use wisdom. Don't be out there, especially if you're a woman. Don't be out there by yourself. without somebody with you, your man with you, especially tomorrow night and probably the next day, because you don't know what type of, well, we kind of do, but you really don't know what kind of fools we dealing with on either side, right? So just make sure that you're not in a situation to, I don't know, maybe have somebody surround you and do something to you. And I would just say this, like, I'm not one of those people that like to stoke fear in the people, but people on either side, they're going to be pretty pissed off. And there's going to be somebody out there doing some foolishness to innocent people. So all I'm saying is, and this is the other thing, Gary, before I give it back to you, this is the other thing. So it's not about you being afraid, but it's about you not having to defend yourself and then end up on the other side of, the courtroom, because, in America, more than likely white people's word will prevail. Then your black ass gonna be having to defend why you put your hands around somebody's neck for putting their hands on you or whatever. So just try to avoid it.
Say, man, punks jump up and get beat down. Let's get it straight. I'm gonna tell you right now, every city that I go to, every hood that I rep in, got love for them, from Minnesota to California, East Coast, West Coast, the whole 9 yards, down south, everything. Then talk to my people. The hood got something to say tomorrow. We don't need no cops to protect us. Y'all pull that shit in the suburbs, man. Go to the country, beat up your scarecrows or whatever you're going to do. But I'm telling you, if you come to the hood, ain't no talking being done. I know the chief of police here said that they're going to be out in force, and yeah, brother, I get it. Yeah, 4 million people and 5,000 cops. I get it. So get what? The hood is on standby. And we ain't waiting for the president to tell us nothing. We ain't looking for no problems, but you ain't coming to our hood and starting them. So I'm gonna be straight up with you. I think we gotta be real with them, because people say they love us because we real with them. So if you're around here in 3rd Ward, Texas, on a skateboard and it's dark, you're gonna get the business. I'm telling you now, you're gonna get the business, man. Because ain't nowhere to skateboard after dark in 3rd Ward, Texas. Studewood, 5th Ward, Acres Home, Sunnyside, the Dead End, South Park, Home Clark. If you're skateboarding after 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock, you're going to get the business. You ain't burning up nothing in our hood. And I'm going to just say this, because I think we need to say this. Why y'all going to have all this white on white crime tomorrow? Can't y'all just get along? Do y'all need a Hyundai? Something? Because you ain't coming to our neighborhoods with that foolishness, man. I'm a little bit different. I agree with you on any given night. I tell people don't be out after dark. But tomorrow night, fuck it. It's like the purge. We ain't scared of nothing. See, because the way you empower a bully is you bow down. We ain't bowing down. I ain't got nothing to do with them 2 old white men arguing and fighting with each other over no electoral votes. But I know you're not coming to our neighborhood and do a goddamn thing. Now, y'all monkeys, I'm calling you monkeys, that done ran out there to the suburbs, thought you was better than the black folk in the hood, you on your damn own. Call your private security, your constables who don't do nothing but deliver warrants, and deal with them. In the hood, we locked and loaded.
Gary, you a fool. But when you said punk jump up to get beat down, the next thing I thought of was, in the lovely words of Cypress Hill, pistol grip pump on my lap at all times. You got to stay ready. Absolutely. I agree with you. They're not going to come to the hood more than likely. They tried it once. I don't know if y'all saw the video where the Trump train, I guess it is, they tried to ride through the hood where there was some polling going on. They were voting. They ran off.
And they made them and the laws get up out of there.
Matter of fact, They wouldn't even let them go through. They made them make a U-turn and got them up out of there. But that's another thing too. The police officers, in many of those videos we've seen, they're there. They're there watching it all unfold, and they're like, well, what do you want us to do? Well, we didn't see a crime committed. And it's also believable, hell, it ain't believe, we know that those cops are, MAGA down. They're the patriots, and, they're involved in all of that too. And so, they're probably hoping for a lot of civil unrest. But to your point, Gary, it is probably going to be a lot of white on white crime, and to black people, that ain't got nothing. Huh?
But for what though?
Well, because they're mad their guy didn't get in.
Well, shit, we ain't never got in. We don't do that. We never got out. Y'all put us in and we ain't never got out. We still here being friendly with you. We want to be friendly with you tomorrow, the day after. Just right. Don't be unfriendly with us. We don't have another cheek to turn. We can't go down another street. Y'all blocking the streets. So I'm just giving you fair warning that we got a rule in the hood. You welcome to come in, but it ain't no guarantees you're going to get out. Now, I talk to my peoples. I'm telling you, them boys with the rags hanging out their pockets, they do not dialogue very well. So if you come down there with your flag, I'm flying my flag, you and that flag gonna get y'all ass toe up. Don't come, dog. I'm telling you. And for my white friends on here that I know got love for y'all, man, stay in the house, man. No matter if you white, Democratic, whatever, you're going to be a target. I'm just being honest with you. You're gonna be a target. Now, I ain't gonna do nothing to nobody, but I ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to me. It ain't gonna happen. I ride around in that 3, man, and it got a Hemi engine. So I hit that gas just a little bit. I'm running over everything. Don't run up on me. Don't jump in front of my car. The only people need to be jumping in front of the car is the dudes at the red lights with the little thing to clean the window. If you're in front of my car and you ain't got one of them now, I'm not doing no talking, man. And people think I'm joking, but I'm dead serious. Because me, I don't take chances. Everything is serious to me. But this stuff tomorrow night, somebody got to win, somebody got to lose. But I really think, from what you said earlier, that this going to be held up in court. I just feel it's going to be held up in court. Now, if we go back and we look at the Cynthia Bailey, Tasha Jackson, Renee Jefferson Smith race, because that went to court. That boy Jared Davis damn near sitting in there extra 2 years. So, there is more than enough information out there for not just Trump, but some down balloting candidates to contest these races. I don't give a damn what the Texas State Supreme Court said. Them drive-through voting locations is a joke. It is what it is. If they're not a joke and we put 5 people in a car and vote, why we need them screens around us when we go vote up in the voting polls? It is what it is. I just think tomorrow is not going to be a good look. And my good white friends, can we all just get along? Can't we all just get along?
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. That's not our fight at all. And that's what I've always been saying. Trump is not the boogeyman of Black people. He is not our Frankenstein. We did not create him. It is not our job to get rid of him. In spite of what everybody is saying, of course, they're really taking Black men to task for going over to the Trump side to a small degree, I guess, but more than last time. But this guy I follow on Twitter, his name is Terrain, I think that's how you say it. But he says, why isn't anybody taking Asians or Hispanics to task? They're voting for Trump in large numbers too, more than Black men, but they're wanting to put Black men on the fire for that. And then I don't know if you guys also saw, I don't watch SNL, but I saw it on Twitter where they made fun of Lil Wayne and Ice Cube, basically saying that they're, endorsing Trump, and had them just really, like what's his name, Keenan, and I don't know the other guy who played him, but just cooning for lack of better words, made it seem like, Lil Wayne and Ice Cube were cooning, for greed and all of that. And so there is this giant hit on Black men for not totally supporting the Democratic Party. And then we're going to get to this clip, but not what I'm about to say. But James Clyburn was on the Breakfast Club, and he admonished Black men who are voting for Trump. He says, your mom is Black. You might have had a baby with a Black woman. And so how dare you, vote for Trump after he called a Black woman a dog. I don't know which Black woman it was he called a dog, but he said that he called somebody a dog, and keeps mispronouncing Kamala's name and all of that. So he's basically saying, shame on you guys for voting for Trump after how he's treated Black women.
If we go back and we look at mass incarceration, we go back to the Nixon administration. We look at the man that started all of it. Let's just go back and look at his war on crime. That dude there amped it up. And then you skip a couple of presidents, you get to Reagan. He had the war on drugs. You see what I'm saying? Then you skip one of them, then, you run into them Bushes and then them Clintons with this mass incarceration. So a lot of this stuff Trump inherited. I'm just going to be straight up with it. He inherited a lot of this stuff, man. And at the end of the day, these people out here, souls to the polls, and, you need to vote straight Democrat. Man, all that is to get money, man. Them people ain't made no money on that side since Trump been in there. They ain't made no money, man. And it is what it is, man. Now, as far as, folks trying to say, well, you shouldn't vote for Trump because he called women this. Well, I mean, hold on a second, man. Ain't Joe played with some women? Ain't he got something in his past where he's been accused of, some type of sexually related situation with women? So, I mean, the thing is you want to forgive Joe for all his sins, and you want to condemn Trump for every last one of his. So my thing is this here. According to the Bible and the 10 Commandments, if you kill a man, you go to prison. You go to hell, right? If you steal a pack of gum, you go to hell, right? According to the 10 Commandments. So my thing is, which sin is greater? Racism on either side of the ball should have never been tolerated. Joe Biden shouldn't even be at this point based on his history. But he is here. So Joe got just as much of a chance to win as Trump does. But I think, based on all the stuff that then came out, that Harris County is going to be contested. I think that because Harris County is bigger than 34 states in the United States of America. That tell you how big the county is that we live in. It's bigger than 34 states. And with all the voter fraud that is going on, I would look at any one of these candidates sideways that did not contest the race. It is what it is. And I mean, whether they're Republican, Democrat, if you lose your race, man, contest it. Bottom line, contest it. And that'll be the end of that. Because it's too much that has gone on. And like I said, people say, well, they all been stealing the elections all these years. Yeah, but these Democrats this year, they trying to pull a kick though, man. It's different when you pulling a kick though, man. But the difference is when you kick them doors in sometimes, they got something waiting for you on the other side. You might have kicked the wrong doors in this year. So it's going to be some folk that get caught up, and they need to be caught up. But I'll say it, and I'm going to preach it all night. Can y'all white folk just get along tomorrow? You don't have to. Please don't hurt each other like that, man. Not white on white crime. Because you know what's going to happen if you commit white on white crime? We going to crucify your ass.
I know, absolutely. And so this kind of back to what my point is. So that's not our fight. Let the white on white crime people, do their thing or whatever. But it's mighty funny how Mr. Clyburn was so mad, or at the black men who are voting for Trump, but he's not mad at Biden at all for what he did to black men. He's mad at Trump for, I don't know, he called some black woman a dog. That's what he says. I don't know. He's mad about that, but not mad about what Biden did to a whole generation of black people. Never did even cross his lips to even say, well, while I'm voting for Joe Biden, I don't like what he did to black people. No, he keeps on throwing that Trump, and he, is not a good person. I'm not saying he is, but he only kept it one-sided.
Well, here's my thing. Calling folks dogs ain't right. But silently calling me a nigga ain't cool either. Your actions determine what you think some days. And to Joe, I'm nothing more than a fat ass nigga. A fat loudmouth nigga on a podcast that run his mouth too much. I'ma just tell you the way I feel. He doesn't ever have to tell it to me. But I know for a fact that's how you feel, and that's how some of your people feel. And that's somehow some of your sellout Negroes feel. That's riding your train. So, who made him the keeper of black people? So if Q can't speak for black people, you can't either, partner. If Wayne can't speak for black people, you can't either, partner. You don't know what the hell go on down here in Houston, Texas. And I'm only speaking in Houston because that's where I'm at. You can only speak of where you come from. These people have no clue that down here is what I call one of them old slave states. And ain't too much gonna pop down here. Not on the black side, because we scary. And we've been scary for 400 years. We ain't gonna do nothing. It's only a handful of us that's gonna raise some hell. So I tell you, tomorrow I'm gonna be out pushing my people, but me and my team gonna be out for one reason. I don't give a damn who you're voting for. Ain't nobody gonna mess with them when they go to the polls. If they want to vote for Biden, they're gonna be free to go in them polls and vote for Biden. If not, you're gonna get your ass whooped. Block them polls if you want. You gonna get your ass whooped.
And Armand, how you doing? He says, why are white supremacy groups choosing Trump over Biden? Doesn't that ring a bell? Well, one is overtly racist and one is undercover racist. I mean, Trump is racist. But just because Biden doesn't say it outwardly that he's racist, that doesn't mean that he isn't. Look at the laws in the bills that he championed. Nothing is more racist than locking up a whole bunch of black people over your miseducation and preconceived notions about black people. But there's racists on both sides. One side just happens to be out with it. Wouldn't you want to know who's racist near you, or would you rather continue? It's like Joe Biden's racism, and some of the people that follow him are like tiptoeing around landmines, like hoping you don't step on one. They're hidden, right? And so, I mean, the racists follow both sides, but the thing we need to be concerned with is what has either one of them done for black people, and who has done the most harm to black people. You're not going to, and I didn't vote for Trump or Biden, but you're not going to be able to answer that and say that Trump has done more damage to black people. In fact, I read an article, I don't know how true it is. What I understand, he let Kwame Kilpatrick out, or he's going to. I don't know how true it is. I read something about it, so I don't know if he got out or he's supposed to be getting out. It said that Trump is attached to it. Not that Kwame Kilpatrick is like a litmus test for black people. I think Kwame did some things he deserved to be in prison for. But if you have to really ask yourself, who's done the most harm to black people? I think if you really, now I'm not talking about just no surface answer where you read a bunch of memes on Facebook and you bought all the hype from the Democratic Party. I'm not talking about that answer. I'm talking about a deep dive analysis on your own. A simple Google search, and you will come up with Biden has done the most damage to black people. So then now ask yourself, which is more racist?
Angela Taylor Patterson. Trump separated children from their families, and the list goes on and on. Didn't slavery separate black people from their families? What about the welfare system back in the 60s? Didn't it separate black men from their families? They couldn't live in them houses. Let's go on up to 2020. What about the child support system? Is anybody doing anything to help fix that shit? See, y'all, you pick and choose these subjects, and you don't want to tell the truth.
And tell her to tell the truth about Obama. They called him the quarter in chief, and the cages started with Obama. Look it up. Well, this is not like we don't have to lie to kick it. Those cages and putting kids started with Obama.
I would ask this black lady a question, and I'm going to offend some people, and I don't care. Why do I give a damn about them people being separated from their kids? When we have a black issue, where are those people? Where are they at? Do they stand with us? No, 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 and no. So do you think I care? Now, that may have killed any political aspirations I may ever have again. But I'm telling the truth. You don't stand with us. So why should I give a damn? I'm just amazed at how we care so much about every other race of people and all of their issues. But we don't give a damn about ours. We'll let these folks get away with bloody murder. And for people that go into Trump speeches and they pull out all this stuff, you don't listen to the whole speech sometimes. Well, he said they were cheating. They were going to cheat with the mail-in ballots. We caught him in Harris County, so what did he lie about? We caught him, didn't we catch him several times, Demetri? Then we put the stuff up on the show. So what did he lie about? You know what? The only problem you had with it is he said it. You had a problem with the messenger. If Joe would have said it, would have said the Republicans were cheating, y'all be singing that song right now. See, Joe is the Pied Piper. Whatever that little motherfucker tweet through that horn, y'all falling for it. And the biggest tweet through that horn is that he gonna take care of black people. But you started off with what he's gonna do and different things like that. Joe don't give a damn about black people. Joe don't give a damn about black people. But y'all cool with that. And me, if you sat me in a room with him, his name would be Joe. I wouldn't give a damn what his title is. See, me, I ain't into titles. I'm gonna call you by your goddamn name. And I would look Joe Biden in his eye and tell him, Joe, you feel the same way about me that I feel about you. And you know what that is? You don't like me and I don't like you. We just have to tolerate each other. That's the realization of it. Joe Biden is a fraud, and you're going to get what you want if he wins. And he going to screw us royally and ride off into the sunset, and then they're going to build him a library and make him a martyr. But Trump still get his library too, no matter what.
Maybe he'll put him next to his Trump towers. And Cheryl, how you doing? He said, do you really think Trump is racist? I have listened to all his speeches before, during, and after. Haven't heard that. I think Trump is racist, but I think he's more so out of touch. And I think further down in the comments, you asked, like what? Well, we can go with, the big time talking points of the Democrats of the Central Park Five. Nothing is more racist than asking for the heads of 5 children for something they did not do. Took out the full page ads. And even to this day, he still feels like they're guilty when there's been a copious amount of evidence saying that they did not do those crimes. And so I think that's pretty racist to ask for a death penalty and continue to further the lies that's been debunked, right? And then Armand, you say black men, let me see, I want to make sure I read this right. Black men have done the most damage to our people. Like how what's in the Kool-Aid? I just want to know, is it crack-aid? Is it crack in the Kool-Aid? Like, what is in the Kool-Aid for you as a black man to make a comment like that? See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I know it's a little extreme, but I really don't feel like everybody should be allowed to vote, because it's people like you that takes that ideology into the polls to justify voting for white supremacy. You will blame black men for damaging our people. Well, let me ask you this. Was it black men who brought over millions of black people through the Middle Passage? Was it black men who snatched them away from their it couldn't be married, but let's say their wives and their children on the plantation? Was it black men who was breaking bucks by raping black men on the plantation and creating these crime bills that snatched men away from their families? Was it also black men who bought into the feminism of white women and left their families or did not want to be with their men? Was it black men who did that? I mean, I could go on and on and forever. So when you say black men have done the most damage, I impress upon you, brother, to educate yourself, and you should never repeat it. Well, I'll tell you this much. When you educate yourself, you'll never repeat that again. Like, don't try to be so down with white supremacy that it makes you look like a fool, because that is very foolish for you to say.
Ellen Davis, Trump hasn't did anything to change those laws to help black people either. He is the one that is in office now. Sweetheart, Trump only signs it into law. That means that you need to talk to your Congress people, Senate people, state legislators, the Negroes that represent you. Trump will only sign it into law. I know we're looking for every reason why to condemn this dude. And I get it. He's put himself in a position that I don't think anybody would have put themselves into. I mean, it's what it is. But I mean, before we say something, man, can we just know what we're talking about? Can we just please know what we're talking about? You know, Joe, say, man, please, y'all go out there and get Biden in office, man. I don't give a damn what Biden do. I'm gonna make money regardless. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna survive, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do, you know, to make this happen. You know, but at the same time, you know, you can't expect a politician to do something that their office will not, their position does not require them to do. If I ran for school board, and I did it in a lot of forums, they would ask 1,000 questions. And I told them I'm not answering. And one lady said, why you didn't answer the question? Because I only have 3 job functions if I'm a school board representative. That's to hire and fire the superintendent, set the tax rates. You see, and it was one other assignment. I say, so when you asking me about reparations as far as being a school board representative, I'm not answering that dumb ass shit, because that's above my pay grade. So you're expecting people to do things that they can't actually do. So it is what it is. And as far as black men have done the most damage, bro, Armand, I got love for you, man. You really believe that? You really believe it, huh? Black men have done the most damage to ourselves. So we dropped all that dope off in our neighborhoods, huh? Do you remember how they neutralized the Panthers? With bad dope. With bad dope, you scream black on black crime. All people, not Armand, but people scream black on black crime all the time. Can't you go on Netflix and watch, you know, movies about the gangsters from the 40s and the 50s? None of them were black. The only one you can get close to say he was a gangster was Bumpy Johnson. But they idolized Al Capone and all the murders that he committed. Babyface Nelson. I mean, they got statues of Bonnie and Clyde. You feel what I'm saying? But anything that we do, it's the worst of the worst, man. No, black men have not been, we've not done the most harm to ourselves. I will say that, because the harm was done before we ever got it crunked up, man. We've been behind the 8 ball since the day they let us off the slave ships. And I want you to think about that. From somebody like Biden that supported white supremacists, I want you to think about what our people went through when they got off them ships. I want you to think about 400 years of captivity. What they did to us. And you gonna give them a pass? To each his own. It's your vote, your choice.
And not only that, and then before we can you put Ellen's comment back up there? Armand, I see down in the bottom too, from my screen, you say, at what point do we take responsibility? Why are you asking Black men to take responsibility before you're asking the man that you cape for, Joe Biden, to take responsibility? Ask him to take responsibility, but you won't do it. And I hate to say it, I'm sure you're a lovely guy, but there's a lot of people out there that's so in love with white supremacy, you wouldn't dare fix your mouth to ask Joe Biden to take responsibility for what he's done, right? And so, let's see. No, not that one. The one where she was talking about Trump didn't do anything. Well, basically, she says Trump didn't do anything to change the laws or something like that. Well, to Gary's point, that's not his job. His job is to sign bills into law. But you know who could have did something? And that was Joe Biden when he was vice president under the Obama administration for 8 years. You know who he is? He was the president over? Joe Biden was the president over the Senate. The vice president is the president over the Senate. And so that's what the Senate does. They come together, they make laws, and they, send it on to the president to sign it. So why didn't Joe Biden change anything for Black people? Went out of his own mouth. He says, I am the author of every major and minor crime bill since 1976. But he got in the White House with Obama and didn't fix any of those things. In fact, James Clyburn, the congressman of South Carolina, says that's what he wants Joe Biden to do. His first 100 hours is to, wait a minute now, wait for it. He wants Joe Biden to commission a study to see how they can right some of the wrongs that went on with the 86 and 88 crime bill. And he says, but no, not the 94 one, because there's a lot of good things. This is a Black man. There's a lot of good things included in the 94 crime bill. So forget all those Negroes that went to jail under the Three Strikes law, and a lot of them for, committing crimes like stealing diapers. He could have made that right if he really wanted to, but here you are trying to put that on Trump's desk, and he's been in office less than 4 years, but Joe Biden has been in office for almost 50 years, but you got the nerve to ask Trump, what is he going to do to change the laws? But you going to watch to see yourself to the polls, if you haven't already, to go happily, scat dance up into the polls and vote for Joe Biden. And you wouldn't dare ask Joe Biden why he didn't change things for Black people. In fact, he said when he becomes the president, he's going to continue the status quo. So what does that mean for Black people when you continue the status quo? That means I'm going to continue making sure you Black Negroes in America catch hell. Now,
Ellen Davis, if you're not talking about Biden, you're talking about Obama. You don't want to get Trump what he deserves. So what does he deserve? So if Joe can do, if Joe can do all these things for Black people that he says, he has this plan that he's going to do. Right, Dimitri? This is where I get confused. So that means you will be able to affect African Americans' lives with things that you're going to do. So when did you figure out that the crime bills were bad, Joe? You were in a position to fix them because you put them in there. So why didn't you fix them before? Why didn't you fix them before? Because they are perfectly set to continuously incarcerating us. Your drug courts, your truancy courts, your school to prison pipeline, all of that. So if you could create the laws to mess up black people's lives. Why couldn't you fix it when you had a chance, Joe? You did it while you did it before you were vice president. So when did you figure out they were bad? Why didn't you fix it? Since you cared so much about black people. See, y'all brainwashed. Y'all are brainwashed that's falling for that foolishness, man. And it irks me because my gut ain't never wrong. Not when it comes to this politics stuff. My gut ain't never wrong. And if these laws are so good, Joe, and they were so good and they worked so perfectly, and y'all saying if you commit the crime, you should go to jail. Why in the fuck his son ain't in jail? Why his son ain't in jail laying up there with a crack pipe in his mouth in a hotel room? But Marion Barry was trying to get him some ass with his crack pipe. You busted in the room like he had a key of dope in him. But what about Joe's son? It don't apply to him? No, because the way the rules were written, the way the laws were written, it actually didn't. It actually didn't. So it's from me to y'all. Stupid is as stupid does. But ain't nobody finna entice me. You can't entice me no more. I done already casted my vote. And I want to make this perfectly clear to people. Just because people are Republicans don't mean that they support Donald Trump. They are in the Republican Party. Get it straight. And Trumpsters? What? Let's call them jokesters. Because if Joe lose, it's going to be some cutting up. And who y'all going to blame that on? Who y'all going to blame that on? So what you going to say then? Black Lives Matter? What you going to say? Antifa? Joe Biden is a sucker, man.
And also, Gary, to answer your question or somebody's question, why doesn't Biden change anything? Because he has a lot of black misleadership. I said misleadership, selling out black people, from James Clyburn to the Congressional Black Caucus, and a lot of Congress people who signed on to the crime bills thought it was a good thing to do that to their own people. He hasn't had a real reason to do it, and so now, and in 2020. Or 2019, when a lot of black people started to wake up, the Democratic establishment and the leadership Negroes, they can't take it because they've been banking on black people being asleep. Joe Biden would have never answered for anything he's done unless black thought and black consciousness started to come to the surface. And that has always been white supremacy's biggest threat, is when black people start to wake up and finally unify. So that's why he's never done it. And even to this day, he was like, well, I got bad information. That's why I did it. I was told by some doctors that crack was worse than cocaine. And people keep saying, well, Joe said he was sorry. He never outright apologized. He said he made a mistake. But nothing says you're sorry like changed behavior. What is he like? Is he saying like once he gets into office, he's going to champion to overturn those laws and he's going to let out all those people, pardon all those people that are in prison due to the things that he did? I haven't heard that he was going to do any of that. And so I just can't wait to it be for all of this to be over, so that we as black people can really finally see, hopefully, that no matter who's in office, we are screwed.
That's the kicker. We don't care if we screw. A bunch of us don't care. Look, all these political figures out here singing Biden song, they're trying to get their next gig. They're trying to get on the cabinet. Well, we know, I don't think Turner will make it to his cabinet. Remember, you endorsed Bloomberg. I don't think you'll make it there. You'll just be the lame duck mayor of Houston and continue to mess over minority-owned contractors. That's what you'll continue to be. But, I mean, a lot of these people they're trying to get their next gig, man. He got to build his cabinet with something. And, I don't knock them, because some people grow up wanting to be a politician. See, there's a big difference. You can be two things in that political world. You can be a politician or a public servant. Which one you want to be? Because a public servant is going to always do the work, whether they in office or not. It ain't about the money. A politician going to make the moves that need to be made so that they can line their pockets. So all we do is idolize and worship politicians who don't do anything for us. Nothing. And some of y'all that are black politicians, you should be a damn shame of yourself to celebrate civil rights icons like John Lewis. You should be ashamed of yourself when you bring up Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. You should be ashamed of yourself. Because look at what you've become. The scum of the earth. That's what you've become. And more importantly, black people, you are the laughing stock of America right now. He doesn't give a damn about the Asians and the Latinos, but he knows one thing: he can't win without the black vote. But you don't even have a seat at the table. But he's making sure that them people with them cages got one. The LGBT community, they got a seat at the table. But black people, you ain't even got a seat at the table. And you're happy about that. Yeah, we need our own party, Markeith. But we're a long way from having that, brother. Because we'd have to purge a whole bunch of these Negroes, man. That ain't gonna work. With what we got trying to represent us, that ain't gonna work. You get more unity from gang members than you get from political parties. And that's just the way that I feel about it. Some of you people should be a damn shame to yourself for the pandering that you've done to get a certified racist into the position that he may actually be the next president of the United States. But, you know, can't we all just get along tomorrow?
Bob Mackey, I think that's who it is. I don't know if you're the Bob Mackey, if that's how you say your last name. It says, Demetra, you're basically speaking with a forked tongue. I do tell I'm interested in seeing how that is taking place. If you wouldn't mind dropping that in the comment section. But yeah, I mean, to your point, Gary, the Democrats know they need black people. That's why they're out pimping and pandering. It was Pennsylvania and Georgia right now. They're trying to get the black votes out because those are considered battleground areas, key states that, you know, will really put them over the top. But they're out there trying to wake up the black voters. Come on out and get more of nothing. Come on out here, vote for us, put us in office so we can continue to ignore you and not give you anything specifically. Come on out. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, if black people weren't so important, especially as far as the voting process going. Now, I'm not talking about the stuff that we say to each other all the time, well, our ancestors died. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about on the politician side. They need, especially Democrats, they need black people to come out there and vote so they can continue delivering more bullshit to black people. So, I mean, I've done my due, diligence as far as voting. I won't say who I voted for, but just know I didn't vote for either one of those. And some people say, oh, that's a vote for Trump. It was a vote for whoever the hell I went in there and voted for. Okay, period. But, eventually we'll see exactly what all this, getting together and, and that's what Dr. Claude Anderson says too. Black people are the only group of people that votes as a block against our better interests. You don't see all white people voting for one party. All Hispanics voted, or it's only us. We all vote for the most part with one party to get nothing. That is just bizarre.
You speak with a forked tongue. You know why you speak with a forked tongue? You've been drinking today. You drink every now and then, don't you?
Just rare.
Rare. But tomorrow I want you to have a big glass of wine, but I'm gonna have me a big cold Bud Light. It's gonna be the crunkest election show y'all ever seen. Because a drunk tongue gonna speak a sober mind. we ain't got no forked tongues over here. We speak the truth, and the truth ain't what you want to hear. So it doesn't matter how it's delivered. You don't want to know the truth. You living in a fantasy world. But I tell you how this is going to work. Trump lose, and I'm not throwing no fear out there. You ain't getting no stimulus. There ain't going to be no Black Friday. Ain't going to be no TVs bought. Yeah, because they going to play you dirty. So it is what it is. I'm like you. See, I'm different. I don't mind. I voted green. I didn't vote for either one of them because I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Joe will kiss your baby and call you a nigga when he walk off. Trump will just tell it to you in your face. He don't give a damn. Trump just tell you whatever on his mind. He's not a politician. That's why you don't get the same things from him that you would get from a normal politician. He's not a politician. And I think it's about time that we get some regular folk in these offices. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody believes that if you sit on the school board, oh, they need to be a teacher. They need to be an educator. They go right up in there and screw everything up. No, you need some people with common sense. You just need some people with common sense. And that's what it is. You know, you're extremely poor for a lot of reasons. A lot of us are extremely poor for a lot of reasons. But one of those reasons is that we do not want to practice financial literacy. That has nothing to do with the president. It has nothing to do with your Congress people, state legislators, city council, nobody. It's because we don't want to practice financial literacy. We don't want to buy property in the neighborhood. See, nobody told you that when Big Mama and your mama them left you all them rent houses, ain't nobody told you to go sell it. You did that on your own. And now you scream about how the hood is being gentrified. The white man did it. Well, if the white man had no access to your property, they could never do it. So, you know, the thing is, group economics, Dr. Claude Anderson, say, man, some of y'all really need to read some books, man. You need to stop watching them porno tapes and Pornhub and read some books, man.
Yeah, so Armand, we are going live tomorrow, extended edition, if you will. We are going to do our very best to cover the election. It'll be our first time really doing it live. So yeah, we're going to do it. It's going to be a lot of information and entertaining. You won't get what you're going to see on the War Zone tomorrow on CNN or Fox or any of that kind of stuff. We're going to let our hair down a little bit and, just, have a good time, kind of try to loosen up because tomorrow will be very intense, if you will. But Gary, I heard somebody got blocked today.
Yeah, she coming in there with that foolishness as usual, and I unblocked her. But I had to bless her and let her know. I ain't about them games, man. Talking about I'm with them people. What people I'm with? Lady, you don't know me.
I think she with them people.
I'm gonna tell you this here. I think she got a crush on.
Oh.
I think she got a crush on this sexy big black Republican. And I think she wants some of this Republican donkey. That's what I think. Because you always seem to want to pick on me when I'm doing what I'm doing. Well, baby, let's stop playing. I know what you want. You want some of this Republican meat.
Wow. Okay. I guess that all remains to be seen, but I'm glad you unblocked her. Yeah, she can be a bit much sometimes, but I think she's learning a thing or two. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here, and if you guys catch Gary on the War Zone Morning Show Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 p.m. Central Time, where they do versus battles and have spirited conversations about trending topics, politics, and great music among many things. So you guys, if you want to do that, download the app. What is it, Gary? Street 100.
Street 100 to Heat.
Street 100.
We had some issues this morning, but my man cleared it up. So I'm ready to rock and roll in the morning, man. And just good music, non-stop good music, man. And you ain't finna come on there and hear half the song. I don't like that. Best part of the song when they get to the end and they get the, and I need to hear all of that. So yeah, just tune in, man, and we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna see if I can get me some politicians on the line in the morning, have some good conversations with them. But the versus battle we supposed to have today, we're gonna have tomorrow, and it's Beyonce versus R. Kelly.
Interesting.
Yeah. He gonna kick her ass from jail.
Oh my God. Yeah, so you guys, we're gonna get out here because Gary has to get up early. But again, we have the Warzone Show Cash App $ Warzone Show. If you guys feel so the need or the want to do so, hit the Cash App or anything that you can. Every little bit helps to keep us going here on the War Zone, because some expenses are accrued rather to do this, and so every little bit helps, and we thank you in advance for that. Gary?
Say, man, another spirited discussion. But tomorrow, like my mama used to say, it's time to shit or get off the pot. Say, I want to thank y'all for tuning in with my good friend, the Queen Demetra K. I'm the 5-star general. If you come and suppress the vote, Democratic or Republican tomorrow, you're going to get your ass whooped in Harris County. Don't bother nobody at the polls. We ain't having it. Until tomorrow night, the election show, I'll make sure I got me a 6-pack of Bud Light, because it's going down, baby. Until then, we'll holler at you.